the NSC, and one from the private sector. The last 1 year saw consistently high-level engagement with the United States government, and I'm glad that we now have a path with the US to rebuild and strengthen bilateral relations. What gives me satisfaction, however, to rebuild and strengthen bilateral relations. What gives me satisfaction, however, is that the positive trajectory in our relations with both the United States and China have been pursued with clarity, underpinned by our consistent position that we do not want to be dragged into global competition. Also, I draw particular satisfaction on how Pakistan maintained its principled position on Ukraine. Despite all the doubts and apprehensions in the media, our voting pattern on related resolutions in multilateral fora remain unchanged. We invested significant effort in engaging both sides of the divide, and today I believe there is a greater understanding of Pakistan's position. This is clearly evidenced by our closer engagement with the US and the European Union, burgeoning energy cooperation with Russia, and visits to Pakistan by the Foreign Minister of Belarus and the Ukraine. This broad, deep, and meaningful engagement with all countries also helped building trust with the countries that sit on the IMF board. Its coming to fruition last month was a gratifying moment. It was owed in equal amount to the assistance given to Pakistan by China, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, a sign that our traditional partners are standing firm with us. I am happy that we were able to contribute to this national effort led by the Prime Minister, Mr. Shahbaz Sharif. Exiting the FATF grey list, was an important development for Pakistan. And I must remind you कि हमने ना सिर्फ FATF ग्रे लिस्ट से निकले, हमने 2 एक्शन प्लान्स मुकम्मल किए, वक्त से पहले मुकम्मल किए और वक्त से पहले ग्रे लिस्ट से निकले. The Minister of State, Ms. Hina Rabbani Khar, led this effort as the chairperson of the National FATF Coordination Committee. And जिस मेहनत के साथ, जिस डेडिकेशन के साथ हिना रबानी खर साहिबा ने ना सिर्फ ये काम करवाया मगर ज़्यादा शोशा के साथ ने, यही वजह है कि हम FATF के जो ग्रे लिस्ट थे उससे निकल सके. In this regard, years of technical work in progress by all state national states, इसलिए कि हिना ने ये लिखा भी है मेरे लिए, तो अब मैं सबको तारीफ करूंगा, मगर सबसे ज़्यादा मेहनत जो है behind the scenes इसके हिना रबानी खर साहिबा की थी. In this regard, years of technical work in progress by all national stakeholders needed to be recognized internationally. We were able to project our progress successfully and have it duly recognized by the FATF, thwarting diplomatically the designs of major detractors. Instead of celebrating this success, we remained focused on the job. We also led a legislative process to ensure that our gains at the FATF are consolidated. Engaging Europe and the United Kingdom constructively was a priority for us. Countless meetings and bilateral visits to and from Europe, as well as on the sidelines of multilateral meetings, have reinvigorated our ties. We seek from these countries better access for our goods, visa facilitations, especially for students, work opportunities for our skilled people, and cooperation in the education, science, and technology. We draw particular satisfaction from the recently initiated migration and mobility dialogue with the European Union, which has great potential for opening doors for Pakistanis seeking employment abroad. इस पे हमने बहुत फोकस किया, ना सिर्फ यूरोपियन यूनियन के साथ मगर जगह जगह, कि किस तरीके से हम पाकिस्तान के अवाम को रोज़गार के मौके फराहम कर सकते हैं, बैरून मुल्क उनके लिए किस तरीके से हम अपना शेयर में इजाफा कर सकते हैं, और इसमें भी हिना रबानी खर साहिबा की बहुत मेहनत है. The continuation of the GSP Plus facility is another positive development in our constructive partnership with this region, and we believe we have set the tone and corrected the course. Successive governments need to continue working in the same direction. On Afghanistan, our approach has been quite clear and forthwith. We will do everything we can for our brothers and sisters, the people of Afghanistan. We have maintained a robust practical engagement with the Afghan interim government, working on areas such as security, border control and markets, commerce, health, education, transit trade, and almost every facet of bilateral cooperation. Pakistan's peace and security are, however, non-negotiable. My first responsibility is to my people, the people of Pakistan. We continue to engage proactively and constructively at every possible regional international format aimed at promoting peace, security, and stability of Afghanistan. Once again, I want to emphasize the skies is the limit to the opportunities we can create together, but terrorism must be countered. Throughout this pervish and extensive diplomatic push, we never compromise on a core tenet of our foreign policy, Kashmir. Even as I participated at the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Goa this year, it was our responsibility, while we never once abused the platform of the SCO to further our partisan agendas. In media interactions and from Indian soil, we managed to advocate for the cause of the oppressed people of Kashmir. And in the same spirit, whether it was at the General Assembly, at the United Nations, whether it was at the OIC, whether it was the visit of the Secretary General of the OIC to Azad Kashmir, the dissemination of dossiers to the international community on continued Indian brutality on Muslims in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, advocacy for the Kashmir cause has been a consistent component of our foreign policy. As foreign minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and also as the last chairman of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers, I take pride in taking the lead on countering Islamophobia and acts of desecration of the Holy Quran. As chair of the OIC group at the Human Rights Council in Geneva, ये तो Geneva पे पहुंच गए, इससे पहले तो हमने काफ़ी कुछ किया था, मैं आपको याद दिलवाता हूँ. एक तो OIC की प्लेटफॉर्म से जब हम काउंसिल ऑफ फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स के सरबराह थे, तो हमने उस प्लेटफॉर्म से, उनके अपने CFM के प्लेटफॉर्म से तो ऑब्वियसली इस चीज़ को कंडेम किया, मगर साथ साथ यूनाइटेड नेशंस के साथ मिलके जो 15 मार्च इस्लामोफोबिया का इंटरनेशनल डे टू कॉम्बैट इस्लामोफोबिया डिक्लेयर तो हो चुका था, मगर उसकी कोई मनाने के तरीक़ेकार नहीं था, तो हमने तारीख रकम किया और OIC का प्लेटफॉर्म से हमने यूनाइटेड नेशंस जनरल असेंबली में ये दिन मनाया. एक तरफ यूनाइटेड नेशंस का सेक्रेटरी जनरल को साथ बिठाया, दूसरी तरफ यूनाइटेड नेशंस का जो जनरल असेंबली का प्रेसिडेंट है उसको साथ बिठाया. पूरी दुनिया को सामने जो है जनरल असेंबली का, यूनाइटेड नेशंस का जनरल असेंबली के जो फ्लोर है वो सब मौजूद है. हर मुल्क ने अपनी बात की और यूनानिमसली ना सिर्फ इस्लामोफोबिया को कंडेम किया, मगर हमारे साथ OIC के साथ the International Day to Combat Islamophobia यूनाइटेड नेशंस के जनरल असेंबली में मनाया गया. ये तारीखी बात तो था, मगर अफसोस के साथ जो इंसिडेंट्स है इस्लामोफोबिया के, जो इंसिडेंट्स थे for the desecration of the Holy Quran in some countries in Europe, वो होता रहा. तो फिर उसके बाद हमने जो इधर लिखा है, एक और तारीखी जो कदम था जो पहली बार हुआ था कि OIC का नुमाइंदगी करते हुए हमने यूनाइटेड नेशंस का जो ह्यूमन राइट्स काउंसिल है जिनीवा में, we tabled and got successfully adopted the resolution on countering religious hatred constituting incitement to discrimination, hostility or violence. और ये भी एक बड़ा तारीखी अचीवमेंट है इस लिहाज से कि आपका मौकिफ को, मुस्लिम उम्मा का मौकिफ को जो UN ह्यूमन राइट्स काउंसिल है वो आपके मौकिफ को माना है और आपका रेजोल्यूशन वहां से पास कर चुका है। तो मैं समझता हूं ये काफी एक सिग्निफिकेंट अचीवमेंट था। I've only mentioned some key areas of our policy, and I'm glad that while difficult issues tend to get urgent attention, our focus on them did not come at the cost of our multifaceted ties with some of our more important partners. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, Iran, Qatar, Azerbaijan, or at the cost of our multifaceted ties with countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, or the Far East. In fact, we were able to add to these relationships substantially. Leadership positions in multilateral processes and forums are coveted globally because they often reflect prestige, respect, and the health of a country's diplomacy. In addition to successfully completing our leadership at the OIC, Council of Foreign Ministers, last year Pakistan was elected as chair of the Group of 77 in China, leading the voice of the Global South in the international discourse on developmental issues and aapko yaad hoga climate change, United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, UN Committee on Non-Governmental Organizations, UN Committee for Program and Coordination, the Executive Council of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, and Pakistan also successfully contested the election for the post of Assistant Secretary General for Science and Technology in the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. This is all a reflection of Pakistan's standing, not only in the Islamic world for the OIC, but at international fora. And it's a great credit, a great compliment to Pakistan's diplomats and our foreign service that despite हमारा जो वसाइल है वो कम होंगे, लेकिन हमारा जो एम्बेसडर्स है, हमारा जो फॉरेन ऑफिस के लोग हैं, उनकी मेहनत की वजह से कम वसाइल के बावजूद हम इतने सारे जो ओहदे हैं हमने पाकिस्तान के लिए हासिल किए हैं। पाकिस्तान की नुमाइंदगी इन अहम जगह में हमने यकीनी बनाया। Since we assumed office, I've worked to ensure that we are constantly evolving and improving to stay ahead of the times in times of multidimensional transition. I realize that reforms within the ministry will... Okay, before I start on reforms पे तो मैं आ जाऊंगा, लेकिन एक बात जो मेरे ख्याल में हमसे मिस हुआ इसमें, if I'm not wrong, वो जो climate advocacy का मौका हमें मिला foreign office की platform से और आपका वज़ीर ख़ारजा होते हुए, मैं आपको बताऊं कि जितना उन दिनों में तकरीबन एक साल पहले जब ये सैलाब हो रहा था और हम तो ग्राउंड पे मौजूद थे, अपने आंखों से सब कुछ देख रहा था, मैं कभी अपनी जिंदगी भी उतना बेबस महसूस नहीं कर रहा था अपने आप को जब मैंने उतना तबाही देखा।